Welcome, film enthusiast. In this video, we will show a film entitled About Time, release in 2013. Tim is self-conscious about looking too tall, skinny, and orange-skinned. His practical mother rarely discusses emotions. His dad, James, Bill Nighy, a retired teacher, spends his days reading and playing ping pong. The family shares joyful times at the beach and their Cornwall, England home, creating fond memories for Tim. Tim's story introduces us to his special uncle Desmond, who may have memory issues, and his spirited sister Kit-Kat. They enjoy a strong, joyful connection, spending sunny beach days and treasured moments at home. Their adventures together are full of laughter and family affection. This story beautifully shows their family's experiences, blending happy times with life's ups and downs in a heartwarming way. On New Year's Eve, Tim attends a party hosted by his parents, albeit with little enthusiasm. While with his friend Jay, chaos ensues when drinks spill over the table and onto the guests. Meanwhile, Kit-Kat is dating Jimmy Kincaid, and a blonde-haired woman shows interest in Tim. As the countdown to midnight approaches, the woman tries to kiss Tim, but he responds only with a handshake and a New Year's greeting, leaving her disappointed as she sees everyone else kissing their partners. The following day, Tim has a meeting with his dad, James, in their home office. James shares a major family secret with Tim, the same one his dad told him at 21. Their male family members can travel through time. Tim can't believe it and doubts it at first, but he's eager to find out more about this unique skill and its rules in their family. James instructs that one must go to a dark place, close their eyes, clench their fists tightly, and choose the exact moment they wish to travel to, which will take them to the desired destination. However, this time travel has its limitations. It only allows visits to moments in one's own life and does not enable altering major historical events like erasing Hitler or having a relationship with Helen of Troy. Following James's instructions, Tim enters his bedroom closet. Inside, he is suddenly startled to hear Mr. Britsta by the Keers playing loudly, and finds himself wearing the same clothes he wore at the New Year's Eve party. Carefully avoiding bumping into the table, and as the countdown to midnight begins, Tim approaches the blonde woman and passionately kisses her, creating a profoundly satisfying moment for himself. Tim returns to the present to express his amazement to his father. His father asks what he plans to do with this ability, and Tim replies that he is eager to use it to find love. Summer comes, and Tim's family gets a visitor, Charlotte, a friend of Kit-Kat, and played by Margot Robbie. Tim finds himself drawn to her. One day, as Charlotte and Kit-Kat relax in the sun, Charlotte asks Tim for help with her sunscreen. At first, Tim is clumsy and uses too much, but soon he gets it right, gently applying it on her back. This small yet significant interaction turns into a cherished memory for both of them. As Charlotte's final day with his family approaches, Tim goes to her room with a question in mind. Although he reminds himself not to ask about love, he can't help himself. Charlotte advises him to act earlier rather than waiting for the last night. This makes Tim ponder, and he decides to try again with time travel to the past, but still fails to make Charlotte fall in love with him. They part with broken hearts, and Charlotte decides to wait until the last night to express her feelings. Following summer, Tim relocates to London to become a lawyer. He shares a home with Harry Chapman, a moody playwright portrayed by Tom Hollander. Tim begins his legal job and befriends Rory, played by Joshua Maguire. Rory often accompanies Tim in his search for a romantic partner. On an evening out, Jay and Tim head to a unique restaurant for a blind date. In the dim setting, Tim talks to Mary, a woman from America, and finds they get along great, while Jay's date with Joanna doesn't spark any interest. After leaving, Tim, feeling a bit self-conscious, is really impressed by how pretty Mary is. He notices her stylish dress and hair, and before saying goodbye, he manages to get her number. Returning home, Tim finds Harry disappointed after a poor performance in his play, where one of the actors forgot his lines on stage. This inspires Tim to act. He wants to lift Harry's spirits by getting involved in the performance to change the mood. Tim tries to persuade one of the main actors, Richard Griffiths, who is getting ready. Initially, he is rudely rejected, but eventually, the actor revises his script. Tim and Harry watch the show hopefully, and the actor successfully delivers his lines flawlessly, earning a rousing applause from the audience. Unfortunately, another actor, Richard E. Grant, completely freezes on stage. Tim travels back in time and backstage to provide a cue card so the actor can see it, enabling him to recite his dialogue properly and receive applause. After the show, Tim attempts to contact Mary, but her phone number is no longer active. He goes to the restaurant where they met, but the host says Mary and Joanna have already left and cannot provide further information due to cash payment. The next morning, Harry reads the newspaper looking for a positive review of his play, but Tim is drawn to an advertisement featuring Kate Moss. The ad reminds him of his first conversation with Mary. Tim visits a Kate Moss exhibition at a museum, hoping to meet Mary. Days pass without success until Kit Kat comes to help him. Eventually, Mary passes by, and Tim tries to talk to her. Though he calls her by name, Mary denies ever meeting him, leaving Tim feeling awkward. Kit Kat encourages him to go back, and that's when Joanna appears. Tim tries to convince Mary that he is not a weirdo or has any strange tendencies as they plan to have lunch together. However, during the meeting, they find out that Mary has a boyfriend named Rupert. As the conversation unfolds, Tim tries to find out how the two met, which turns out to have been at Joanna's party the week before. Joanna provides the full address of the party, tempting Tim to return to the men's toilet and use the time machine. Tim arrives just in time at Joanna's party and meets Mary, who is sitting alone near a window. Initially, their conversation is somewhat awkward, but Tim successfully convinces Mary to go out to dinner with him, avoiding her meeting with Rupert. They talk about Mary's job in book publishing and Kate Moss. After dinner, Tim escorts Mary home, and they kiss for the first time. Tim invites Mary in, although their first intimate encounter does not go smoothly. He tries again with more success, ultimately leaving both of them satisfied. Tim and Mary have been dating for several months, often meeting at train stations while listening to street musicians play romantic songs. One day, Mary's parents unexpectedly visit from America, and Mary informs Tim in the blink of an eye. She warns Tim that her parents are very conservative and do not wish to discuss their intimate relationship. Tim, in his clumsiness, accidentally says something inappropriate to them. He quickly attempts to rectify the situation with a time travel and successfully changes it. Eventually, they have dinner together, and Mary declares her love for Tim. One evening, Tim and Rory go to a play, and Tim sees Charlotte there with her friend Tina, Catherine Stedman. After the play, Tim tries to talk to Charlotte, who introduces Tina as her best friend. This leads Tim to mistakenly think that Charlotte is a lesbian, although Charlotte clarifies that Tina is not her girlfriend. Tim then tries to correct this misunderstanding, but still makes an erroneous statement about using the term girlfriend to assume someone's sexual orientation, even though it turns out Tina is a lesbian, but not Charlotte's girlfriend. Tim goes back in time for the third time, hoping to mend his relationship with Charlotte. However, this time he doesn't approach Charlotte as before. Fortuitously, Charlotte sees Tim with Rory. They chat briefly, then Charlotte goes to dinner with Tina. Suddenly, Charlotte invites Tim to join as she leaves Tina. They have dinner together and return to Charlotte's place. Charlotte invites Tim inside, but he declines, claiming he has a task to complete. Tim runs back to his apartment and finds Mary asleep. Though she is exhausted and half asleep, Tim wakes her up to propose to her. He then time travels to hire a jazz band to fill the room with music. Gently, Tim approaches Mary and asks her to marry him. Mary accepts the proposal even in her semi-conscious state, appreciating Tim's choice not to make a grand public proposal. Tim and Mary visit Tim's family to share their big news. There, they meet Kit Kat, who reveals she has just lost her job. Kit Kat quickly rushes into the living room, where he warmly greets Mary and repeatedly kisses her affectionately on the cheek. During dinner, Tim announces his plan to marry Mary to his family. They plan to get married soon as they are also expecting a baby. This news delights the family. Tim and Mary begin planning details of their wedding, including the songs to be played, Tim's best man choice, and their honeymoon destination. All these become the enthusiastic topics of conversation that night. On their wedding day, despite heavy rain, the atmosphere remains exhilarating for the couple. During the reception, Rory, the best man, delivers an awkward speech and proposes time travel to choose his best man, triggering a rude comment from Harry. Consequently, Tim turns to Jay, who also makes an inappropriate remark. Eventually, Tim selects his father as the final best man after a half-hearted speech from James. James himself then time travels to deliver a better speech, expressing his love for three men: Uncle Desmond, B.B. King, and Tim. Mary and Tim, now parents to their daughter Posey, move into their own home despite financial constraints, but find happiness in their new life. On Posey's first birthday, Tim's family gathers to celebrate, but they notice the absence of his sister, Kit Kat. Unexpectedly, Jimmy Kincaid arrives, leading to the revelation that Kit Kat, after a fallout with Jimmy and under the influence of alcohol, was involved in a car accident. Worried, Tim and Mary rush to the hospital, only to realize the severity of the situation. Responding to this crisis, Tim uses his unique time-traveling ability, taking Kit Kat back to their home before she can make the crucial decision to drive. He then asks her about her tumultuous relationship with Jimmy during a walk on the beach, eventually revealing the secret of his time travel ability. To further help her, he takes Kit Kat back to the New Year's Eve party where she first met Jimmy. This time traveling allows Kit Kat to witness Jimmy's true character as he flirts with another girl. Realizing Jimmy's true nature, a determined Kit Kat confronts him, culminating in her punching him, a moment of enlightenment and empowerment. Tim brings Kit Kat back to the present with her memories altered, so she tells Tim she is now with Jay. Tim is pleased to see Kit Kat happier with Jay, and he returns home. As he goes to play with Posey, he is shocked to find his daughter is now a boy. Tim Time travels back to the day of the child's birth to meet his father. James informs his son that because the child was born amidst Tim's time travels with Kit Kat, he altered the timeline, resulting in a son. Tim realizes he must cancel Kit Kat's new timeline for Posey to be born. Kit Kat still experiences the car accident, but Tim and Mary stay by her bedside until she vows to break up with Jimmy and keep her job. Before he leaves, Tim tells Kit Kat that Jay has always liked her, and she should talk to him. Indeed, Posey is still there, and Tim is playing with his daughter. He tells Mary that he wants another child, although Mary is reluctant to go through the process again. Nevertheless, they have another baby, this time a boy named Jeff. One evening, Tim and Mary go out for dinner with Mary's publisher. She changes her outfit multiple times as she is dissatisfied with her appearance, despite Tim reassuring her that she looks beautiful in everything. Mary eventually returns to the first dress she tried on. She asks Tim where Posey is, and he tells her that he left her downstairs. Unfortunately, he left her with the publisher's manuscript, which Posey colors with crayons and inserts into the paper shredder. Mary is furious, and when Tim tries to leave so he can undo it through time travel, Mary doesn't let him go. The phone then rings, and she answers angrily, only to apologize when she realizes it's Tim's mother. She hands the phone to him, and Tim's expression turns worried as he talks to his mother. Tim and Mary go with Kit Kat back to the family home in Cornwall. Kit Kat rushes in crying while Tim asks his mother how things are. She responds, "I am not at all interested in life without your father." Uncle Desmond informs Tim that James is suffering from lung cancer. He adds that on Tim's wedding day, when James told Desmond that he loved him, it was the happiest day of his life. And now, knowing this news makes it the worst day. Tim meets with his father and learns that he only has a few weeks left. He admits that he frequently time-traveled to give himself more time to spend with his family and to read numerous books. He then tells Tim he has another secret to share with him. Tim recounts that his father gave him a 2-part plan to enjoy life. The first part is to live each day normally. We see Tim going to work, witnessing Rory getting reprimanded by their boss, having lunch, and going to the courtroom with Rory, which turns out to be successful, living through the day with the pressures he faces. The second part is to go back in time and relive that day while accepting it as it is. He remembers the day with a more cheerful feeling, even letting Rory enjoy it. The day of James's funeral arrives. As everyone gets ready, Tim time travels to a moment with his father, telling him that he will be arriving from the funeral. He sits with James to listen to him read a passage from a Charles Dickens novel. Mary shares with Tim her desire to have a third child, whimsically referred to as an insurance baby. Her reasoning is unique. If one of their children turns out to be very smart and the other does not, having a third child will ensure there are 2 siblings, rather than one feeling isolated. Tim, understanding the implications, agrees to the idea, but realizes that this decision signifies the need to fully move on from his father's death. During Mary's 9 months of pregnancy, Tim finds solace in time traveling to spend moments with his father every day. As Mary's due date approaches, Tim realizes the time has come for his last visit. In their final poignant meeting, they play table tennis. As Tim offers a kiss as a farewell gift, his father senses the underlying finality. They share a heartfelt moment before embarking on their last journey together, choosing a precious day from Tim's childhood to spend at the beach, symbolizing a gentle goodbye. Tim and Mary's third child, a girl named Jo, is born. Kit Kat and Jay have also married and have their own child. By this time, Tim has decided that he can now live his life without time travel, as it is perfect as it is. He kisses Mary as she lies in bed while he goes to drop off his children, who are now a bit older, at school. The film concludes with a brief montage showing most of the other characters, Rory, Harry, Tim's mother, Kit Kat, Joanna, etc., enjoying their lives day by day. Thank you for watching our videos. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.